In this video, we're going to go over how to change an equation into standard form. We've gone over how to change an equation in a slope-intercept form. Here's what it looks like when it's in slope-intercept form. It has to start off with y is equal to. Then you write down the slope, put the x beside it, and on the end is the y-intercept. And here is an example of something in slope-intercept form. Y is equal to 2/3 is the slope, put x beside it, and the y-intercept is there on the end, 3. For something in standard form, it needs to look like this right here. There are rules on how to put this in this form, and we're going to go over those rules. Here's an example of something in standard form. 2x plus 3y is equal to 12. That's an example of something in standard form. So what I want to go over next is the rules for standard form. Here are the rules for standard form. The rules for standard form are this. All the variables must be on the left side. So let's look at that example again. 2x plus 3y equals 12. All the variables in this equation are on the left side. And we're going to go over how to move those variables over to the side they're supposed to be on if they're not on the correct side. These variables must be in alphabetical order. If it's got an x and a y, x becomes before y in the alphabet. If it has a z, z would be next. A's come before b's, b's come before c's. It doesn't matter what letters you use. Always put it in alphabetical order. That's for anything in standard form. We've got numbers that go right here. These numbers are a, b, and c. These numbers need to be integers. That means they can't be fractions and they can't be decimals. We're going to go over what to do when they are fractions and how to get rid of those fractions in these equations. And the last rule, the first term cannot be negative. I'm going to go over these rules over and over every time I do an example because I need to check these. Now, I just need to check them. This isn't like an order that you need to go in when you check them. You just need to make sure all these rules are followed. I can follow this rule first about getting rid of the fractions. And you'll see that I'm going to do that for some of these. That's going to be the first thing I do is get rid of the fractions in the equation. Example number 1. I need to change this equation right here into standard form. So let's go through the rules again. One of the things, the very first rule is all the variables need to be on the left side. All the variables need to be over here on this side of the equal sign. This one right here is the one that's in the wrong spot. So I need to get rid of that one. To get rid of something in an equation, I need to do the opposite. So the opposite of negative 2x, positive 2x. Remember, if I do something on one side, I have to do it to the other side. That means I need to add 2x over here to this side. These are not like terms. I can't put them together. So I need to put them in an order. And the order I put it in is alphabetical order. X's come before y's. So I'm going to write 2x, that's a positive y, plus y is equal to, that's eliminated, 3. So let's go through our rules again. All the variables have to be on the left side. Correct. They have to be in alphabetical order. Yes. Can't have fractions or decimals. No fractions or decimals in this problem. And the first one's not negative. So it meets all the rules. This is now in standard form. Example 2, I need to put this equation right here in standard form. All the variables need to be on the left side. This is the one that's in the wrong spot. To get rid of it, I need to do the opposite. The opposite of positive 5x, negative 5x. That means I need to subtract 5x from both sides. These are not like terms, so I can't combine them together, but I need to put them in some order then beside each other, and the order is going to be alphabetical order. That's going to be negative 5x, that's a positive y, is equal to, that's eliminated, and I'm left with a negative 6 over here on this side. All the variables are on the left side. Yes. Are they in alphabetical order? Yes. Do I have any fractions or decimals? No, so I don't need to change that. And the last rule is the first one cannot be negative. To change this mathematically, I need to do something to this entire equation that changes the sign. And one way to do that is to multiply everything by negative 1. If I multiply everything by negative 1, it's going to change all the signs here. Negative times a negative is a positive. A positive times a negative is a negative. A negative times a negative is a positive. So, are all the variables on the left side? Yes. Are they in alphabetical order? Yes. Do I have fractions? No, don't have to worry about that. Is the first term negative now? No. This is in standard form. Now I'm showing that I'm multiplying everything by -1. Later on, I'm not going to show that. A lot of times math teachers show every single thing that may be going on in their head because some things can be done in your head. For example number 3. I need to put this in standard form. All the variables need to be on the left side. That means this is the one that's in the wrong spot. I need to get rid of that 7x. So I'm going to subtract 7x from both sides. These are not like terms. That means I need to put them in an order. Alphabetical order is what I'm going to put them in. That means the x goes first. That's positive y is equal to, that's eliminated, and a -3 on the end. So in this example up here, I multiplied everything by -1. I'm going to do that, but there's another rule I can use. If the first term is negative, and it's not supposed to be, why not just change the sign of everything? Remember, in an equation, if you do something to one thing, you have to do it to everything. And that's just what I'm going to do here. In my mind, I'm going to go, hey, I want to multiply everything by -1. And what's the result of that? The signs are all going to change. That's going to be a positive 7x minus y is equal to positive 3 now. Example number 4. I need to put this in standard form. So like I said before, I don't have to follow those rules like this is the first thing or the second or the third thing I need to do. One of the things I know is I'm not supposed to have fractions. That may be third on the list of the rules, but it's the first thing I'm going to get rid of here because I don't want this equation to have fractions in it. The way you get rid of fractions in an equation is to multiply by a common denominator. The only number up here that's a denominator is 3. I'm going to take this entire equation and multiply everything in that equation by 3. I'm going to show it like this. Times 3. I want to multiply everything by 3. Once I do that, there will be no fractions left in this equation. 3 times y, 3y, is equal to 3 times -1 is -3, divided by 3 is -1x. Make sure you put that x beside it. 3 times 2 is positive 6. The next thing I need to do is look at some of my other rules. All the variables need to be on the left side. This is the one that's in the wrong spot. So I'm going to add 1x to both sides. These are not like terms. I can't combine them together. I put them in the correct order. I'm not going to write this 1 here. I'm just going to put x, realizing that there's a 1 sitting right there, plus 3y is equal to, that's eliminated, a positive 6. So I'm going to go through those rules again. You need to do this every single time. Are the variables on the left side? Yes. Are they in alphabetical order? Yes. Are there any fractions? No. I eliminated those fractions. Is the first one negative? No. I don't have to do anything else to this then. This is in standard form. So to get rid of a fraction, multiply by a common denominator. Multiply the entire equation by a common denominator. So let's try one with a fraction in it again. Example number 5. Example number 5, as soon as I see it has a fraction in it, that's the very first thing I'm going to do. I'm going to eliminate that fraction. And how do I eliminate that fraction? By multiplying by a common denominator. What's the only number here that's a denominator? That's the bottom of the fraction. That's a 3. I'm going to multiply everything by 3. 3 times y, 3y is equal to 3 times 2 is 6, divided by 3 is 2x, and 3 times -4 is -12. Let's think about some of the other rules. All the variables need to be on the left side. This is the one that's in the wrong spot. I need to get rid of it. I'm going to subtract 2x from both sides then. These are not like terms. I can't combine them together, but I need to put them in alphabetical order. That's eliminated, and negative 12 gets brought down. Okay, all the variables are on the left side. Are they in alphabetical order? Do I have fractions anymore in this? No. Is the first one negative? Yes. I don't want the first one negative, so what I'm going to do is I'm simply going to change the sign of every number so that that first one's not negative anymore. That negative is going to become a positive. Change this one and change the last one. It meets all my rules now for being in standard form. Example number 6. Again, this one has a fraction in it. The very first thing I'm going to do is get rid of that fraction. And how do I get rid of that fraction? By multiplying by a common denominator. What's the only number here that's a denominator? 5. That means I'm going to multiply everything in this equation by 5. 5 times y, 5y is equal to 5 times 2 is 10, divided by 5 is 2, and make sure I put the x there. All the variables are supposed to be on the left side. This is in the wrong spot, so subtract 2x from both sides. These are not like terms. I can't put them together. Put them in alphabetical order. Negative 2x, positive 5y is equal to, now every time I say this with students, I say, well, what's left over here? They say nothing. Then I say, what number represents nothing? That would be 0. So in ones with standard form, you put zeros. Slope-intercept form, you don't put zeros. So all the variables are on the left side. They're in alphabetical order. That first one can't be negative. So I'm going to change the sign of everything. I'm going to change the sign of that one, change the sign of this one, is equal to, remember when I don't have anything over here, I have to put a 0, but 0 is not positive and it's not negative. So it still just stays 0. This equation in black is the same as the one in red. This is just in standard form. Example number 7. What makes example number 7 different than the other ones is there is more than one denominator. I need to find a common denominator. An easy way to find a common denominator is simply multiply these two numbers together and you've got a common denominator. So 3 is a denominator, 4 is a denominator, 3 times 4 is 12. I'm going to multiply everything by 12. 12 times 2 is 24. 24 divided by 3 is 8. So I've got 8x plus 12 times 1 is 12 divided by 4 is 3. Make sure I put that y with it. Is equal to 3 times 12 is 36. Are all the variables on the left side? Yes. Is it in alphabetical order? Yes. Are there any fractions? No, don't have to worry about that. Is the first one negative? No, don't have to worry about that. This is now in standard form. This one has 3 denominators. What I need to do is I need to multiply all these together and find a common denominator. So if you don't have a calculator, take your calculator. 7 times 9 times 2 is equal to 126. I'm going to multiply this entire equation by 126 and it's going to eliminate all the fractions in it. So let's do that. Times 126. So the way I do this is I go 126 times the top number divided by the bottom number. So let's do that. 126 times 2 in the top up there divided by 7 equals 36. 36x plus, I'm going to take 126, multiply it by 4, divide it by 9. 126 times 4 divided by 9, then hit equal, 56y is equal to the same thing for this one. I'm going to take 126, multiply it by 7, divide it by 2. 126 times 7 divided by 2 equals, are all the variables on the left side? Yes. Are they in alphabetical order? Yes. Do I have any fractions anymore? No. Is the first one negative? No. That means this right here is in standard form. Now, I'll look at these numbers right here. The smallest number would not go into any of the other numbers. I'm going to look at an example where the smallest number would actually go into one of the larger numbers. Example number 9. Example number 9, I have fractions in this one. I need to find a common denominator. I look at my smallest number right here, and it will go into this number right here. So I don't need to include this number when I'm finding a common denominator. 3 will go into 6. That 3 is part of that 6. So really the best common denominator here is just simply these two numbers multiplied together. 6 times 5 is 30. So this one I'm going to do without the calculator. Here's how you can do it without the calculator. Instead of multiplying first, I'm going to divide first. 30 divided by 6 is 5. 5 times negative 5 is negative 25. And put an x with it. Minus. Instead of multiplying, I'm going to divide first. 30 divided by 5 is 6. 6 times 2 is 12. Is equal to, instead of multiplying, I'm going to divide first. 30 divided by 3 is 10. 10 times 10 is 100. So let's look at this one. All the variables are on the left side. We don't have fractions anymore. It's in alphabetical order. But I do have one problem. This first one's negative. I don't want the first one negative, so I'm going to change the sign of every single one of them. Change the sign of this one, and the last one. This is now in standard form. So if you get 3 fractions, look at the smallest one. If it will go into one of the other ones, then you only have to take those two numbers and multiply them together to find a common denominator. On the other one, I had to multiply all 3 of them together. So let's try another one like this. I need to find a common denominator. One way of finding a common denominator is multiply all 3 of them together. Well, let's take the smaller one and see if it'll go into one of these. Yes, 2 will go into 4. So that means to find a common denominator, I only have to multiply these two together. 5 times 4 is 20. I'm going to divide first when I start multiplying this 20 to each one of these. 20 divided by 5 is 4. 4 times 4 is 16. And put that x with it. Minus 20 divided by 4 is 5. 5 times 1 is 5. Y is equal to 20 divided by 2 is 10. 10 times 1 is 10. Let's see if this one's in standard form. Now, are all the variables on the left side? Yes. Are they in alphabetical order? Yes. Do I have any fractions anymore? Not anymore. Is the first one negative? No. This is in standard form.